Hello and welcome to the Real Life Show, ladies and gentlemen. My name is Jonathan. This is a platform where we get to engage, interact, learn from icons, gurus, trendsetters, trailblazers, men of influence, people who are making a difference, making waves. And today I have an interesting guest all the way from Uganda. He is the founder and CEO of April Logistics. This man, okay, he's showing his label right there. Yeah, he looks simple like this, but he's an insane personality. He's mad. And we just want to talk about frugality. And also he shares with us his story of how he is driving all the way from Egypt, going to South Africa, and he'll be driving back to Egypt. We'll get more details on that. Ladies and gentlemen, I'm simply talking about Paul Mugumya Jr. Mr. Mugumya, welcome to the show.
Thank you so for inviting me. It's quite an honor being in Zambia.
Yeah.
Actually, before that, I would just say that I've been avoiding coming to Zambia for a long time.
Why?
Simply because of numbers anyway.
You're a man of numbers.
Yeah.
You like numbers. You like calculations.
Yes. Oh, yes. You know, I have business partners in Zambia for many years, but Jonathan, like, you know, Zambians are serious people. Like, whenever I could be in Kenya or South Africa or they would come and see me.
Really?
And for some reason, I was like, okay, maybe I would go later.
Yeah.
So this time around, things were different.
Yeah.
And I decided that probably on my first leg of my tour around Africa by road, I should do Zambia. And I think I already regret why I put so long off coming to Zambia.
You are excited.
Nice people,
to
wonderful people,
awesome.
and a great economy.
Great.
Very happy.
Okay, let's dive right into it. Frugality. What is the definition according to your own terms?
Right. I think, Jonathan, I can share my story on this.
Yeah, sure.
And it would be probably the best I can give.
Yeah.
I was 20 years old when I quit school. I think here they call it grade 12, the last class of high school.
Yes.
I was about 3 months to finish high school, and I figured out that I wouldn't go to university because of money.
Yeah.
So the first thing I did was, why don't I drop out of school? So I was like, I should leave school. After all, what am I doing here? I will not go to university.
Yeah.
That was a stupid mistake I did, so I left school. When I left school, the number one idea which I had on my mind, I was 20 years old, was to be rich at 25.
Okay.
So I was like, let me do anything I can, so that at 25, I'm a rich man.
Yeah.
I think it was one, and it's the second thing. I don't know if it's a stupid thing I did, but for some reason I was like, let me do that. I figured out that nobody would employ me in Kampala, in Uganda. The only job I could get with a dropout certificate was to pay me something, probably in Kwacha. It could be like maybe 1,000 Kwacha or something. So I figured out that the only way I could change my life is by going into business. Okay. So I chose business because I used to hear that the richest people in our country are in business.
Yes.
So somewhere, somehow, I was convinced that I should go into business.
Yeah, so that you can also join the crew of people who are rich.
To cut the story short, by the time I was the age of 26, I wasn't a rich man, but I was in debt.
Yeah.
I had started, over that period of about 5 years, I started a total of 13 different businesses. 13 of them.
13 businesses?
Yeah, all of them collapsed.
They were failures.
I never made money in any of them. 13 businesses. And by 26, I was not only broke and bankrupt, I was in debt. In fact, the problems I created by trying to, the last business I had, it took me the next 2 years trying to recover from the problems I created. So, to cut the story short, I was about 26 at the time and broke and in big trouble. So I came up with an idea. I said, I should this time come around, start up a business and grow it, and I only leave it until I'm financially successful. Unfortunately, I had nothing left. However, because of the troubles I'd gone through during the bankruptcy, Jonathan, I had suffered too much that I learned the hard way that a man can live without many things in life. And I think that's where the concept of frugality was born. Frugality, for those who may not know, I'm simply talking about being able to make a lot of money if you can, and live on as little as possible. That's the simplest definition I can say. Like,
Great.
I was like, hey, let me give you a good example. Before going bankrupt, I had a house I was renting in Kampala. 2 rooms, nice place and everything. When I went bankrupt, I couldn't afford to pay rent for that house. I moved there from that house and I had to look for a friend who was living in a small room, I think in the court of the one I was living in. And I had to beg him to allow me to sleep in his room and we share rent of a small room. And let me tell you, after about 6 months of doing that, I figured out that I did not die. And when I figured out that I did not die, I realized that the most important thing in life is being financially independent and successful. In fact, I realized that if I can have money in the bank, if possible, and I can be doing well financially, even if I do not have things like furniture and nice house and all these things, nice gadgets and all that, I can live life. So one lesson I learned during the bankruptcy was one, that a man can live on literally nothing, if possible, for as long as it takes until they use everything, because so that they can afford to use the money they have to really get ahead. Let me give you a story of how I went out of bankruptcy. I came and I looked for a job again. The job I got was to work in somebody's farm. The good thing about working in farms in Uganda, I think the same in Zambia, somebody can employ you without any skills, provided you are willing to work hard and hustle on the farm. So I got a job on this cattle farm and I worked there for about 6 months. So in the period of about 6 months, I was paid a one-off pay of an equivalent of about $200. I think that's like 4,000 kwacha or 4,500 kwacha, I think. A one-off pay. So I used this amount of money to go back and build my life afresh. But this time around, I had learned some of the lessons which made me to actually fail in business in the early days, because I lost so many business at the same time. So this time around, when I came back in business, I was ready to never make any mistake again. And the number one mistake I learned is, the first lesson I learned about money was is that before you learn how to make a lot of money, you better learn how to live on as little as possible on whatever you make, so that you have too much money left over. And to this very day, is the number one principle that I live with, and I think it has helped me this time to build a successful company which I'm running right now.
Great. Now the question I have for you is, you look very simple. You have money, right?
Everybody has money. Yeah. How it sound?
Yeah. So I'm not sure whether you're a billionaire, but I think you're a millionaire. And yet, if someone meets you on the street right now, they'll think this guy completely has nothing. Doesn't that bother you on how you look? You don't put on suits, you don't put on nice shoes, you don't drive a fancy car, but you're still the CEO. How does that make you feel?
Maybe let me give this background a little bit.
Yeah.
When I began building a business again, I had one goal. I said, I'm going to focus every single coin I come across, every single energy I have in my brain, to make sure that I build this company until it is super successful. And by successful, according to my definition, I wanted it to be able to make us a profit of what we call 1 billion shillings in Ugandan money anyway. But of course, that's not a lot of money. It is something like maybe like 5 million kwacha perhaps. Not so much money, about 5 million kwacha. I was like, if we can make about 5 million kwacha, I will have built a successful company. And one of the things I came to realize is this, that when it comes to money, especially in running a company, the money we earn, it is more important to focus on how we use it so well, on only things which make us more money, than opposed to just having dreams that one day we shall make a lot of money. Because I have learned the hard way that in life there's nothing like a future money, Jonathan. There's nothing like future money. There's only present money. Me, one of the things that I have got to do with my transport company, Apple Logistics Limited, it's actually the same culture. We only spend money on things that make us more money. And let me tell you, when you work the bank, I have never seen the bank manager say, let me see how you came driving, and then we talk. They say, give me your accounting number. when the bank manager asks for your account number, they punch it. The answer they get from your statement, they either say, can you come back tomorrow? Or they will say, man, come closer, let us go in the room and actually get talk.
Yes.
They do not care whether you are dirty or smelling or doesn't matter. Although I'm not, because I'm not smelling, but the point I'm trying to make is this, that when I figured out that what makes meaning when it comes to money and business is doing things that only make money, that really matters, and numbers was what matters. Everything got changed.
So what I'm trying to get from you is, for you, all that matters is making more money, regardless of how you look.
Oh, exactly. And you know, I could tell you one thing which is so surprising. I was I think just a few years back. I think about 2 years ago. I remember going to the bank. We were trying to negotiate some deal, and you know, the guy called me in, and he didn't know that he was talking to the CEO of the company anyway, you know. He thought, oh, this young boy, what are you here to do? And later on he discovered that I was the one. And then later on we go to do a couple of more things, and even the same thing done with other projects. But one thing I want to give as probably advice, if actually possible, is this: is that it is more easy to make it. Okay, let me say begin with the hardest. One lesson I've learned in life is that the hardest part of life is to make a lot of money, and you live on less of it. The easiest thing in life is to make 10,000. And you live on 15,000 by borrowing the extra 5. That is the easiest. The hardest is to make 10,000 and you live on 6,000. One of the things I have tried to do my entire life is this: I have tried to make sure that I work hard every day to increase my income, and I make sure I do not increase a single bit of my expenses.
Now, what is the point of you making more money if you can't spend it? You can't buy shoes, you can't buy clothes, you can't buy nice food, go to, you know, nice lodges. Where do you take your money?
Oh, actually we do. Okay, this is my principle on money. And actually, the reality is it works. The people actually who believe that money is supposed to be you make it and spend it. The truth is all of them are broke and they are suffering. That one I know, they don't have to tell me I know that. But and that one I know that one straight away. All of them are broke. Okay. And again, one thing I have also come learn about money is this: we do not spend money based on amount. We spend it based on percentages. If I make 100,000 kwacha in a deal, 40% of it is my money. You will find me blowing up money like nothing, as if I don't like it, because the 40,000 is mine. It is 40%. The next time I only make 30,000 kwacha, I will not break down the percentage which I will spend. I will only spend still 40%, and you'll find me blowing up only 12,000 kwacha. And the point in this is in this is one. When I was, let me use numbers. When I was making about $200 a month, you know, my house rent was something like about $40, and it was great, right? Okay. When my income reached 500, meaning it has more than doubled. Yeah. I actually increased my standard of living, and my rent moved from about $40. It moved to something like about $90 or $100, somewhere around that range. In fact, in numbers, I was spending more money. In numbers, I was spending $90 before I was spending $40. You get the idea? But the percentage was even lower, meaning that if I make 500 and I spend 100, I have only spent 20% of my income, right? On rent. If I make 200 and I spend $50, I have spent 25%. It means the one who spends 50 is actually more extravagant than the person who spends 100, all because of the money. So the expense thing, whenever, let me tell you this story. Whenever I find people argument, the reason why people argue so much on the idea of spending is because we want to live a life we can't afford, so that we live broke as we are used to be. So when somebody is used to that, I can tell you from my personal experience. one of the things that black people do in Uganda, I don't know about Zambia, there's something I call black tax. Black tax is where you take on responsibilities as a black person because your culture expects you to do them. When your brother has a wedding, you feel you are supposed to contribute. That's black tax. When your auntie is sick, it is her business. She got sick, maybe she was eating and she swallowed the laser bread or a pin. None of your business. It was her pin she swallowed, and now she's in hospital. She wants you to use your money, because it is your auntie, your aunt suffering. That's black tax.
You're not supposed to do that? I thought it's humanity. I mean, if my auntie is sick, then I'm supposed to.
You said it right. You use the word it is humanity, but in the process of going ahead, it doesn't add up. Numbers cannot support that. The truth is, you can't afford. You like it, but you can't afford one, right?
That's insane, right there, ladies and gentlemen. You can go ahead with your point, Mr. Mugumya.
Okay. The point I'm trying to portion is this: that you may like something, but the truth is,
when you calculate the numbers, it won't add up.
You can't afford. Let me give. I use my own example.
Yeah.
I'm one of the most generous people, Jonathan, I think of. Do you know why? 5% of all my income goes to helping others. I don't eat it. 5% of it. Now the problem is one. The problem is one. Because I'm not yet a rich man, my 5% is very small. For example, if I make about $500, my 5% is only $25. So when I make an income of $500 and I take off 5% of $25 and I help somebody else, they will feel like I'm stingy, like I should have done more for them. But in reality, I gave them as much as 5% of my income. You get the point, right? Now, another rich man who makes $100,000.
Yes.
He may only give 4%, but because his 4% is as much as 4,000. So when he goes and pays your bill of $1,000, like, the guy is so generous. Mugumya is not. But the reality is, it is a percentage. Remember, I do not choose a house to rent that I want. I choose the house that falls in the percentage
that
of income I can afford. Right. I do not. I told this to people and they saw that I was like I was mad. For the first about 2 years of me building Apple Logistics Limited, around 2015 there, my meal, in Uganda, even a poor person eats a variety of food. You eat rice and you have like a posho. How do you call it? This one we eat here. Yeah, in Shima, like in Shima. But in Uganda, you eat like